morning, it's another brew day here at Wheatlow Brewery, and today we're going to do a very big commercial beer that's very popular at the moment, and it is called Guinness. And the remarkable thing about Guinness from a home brewer's point of view is that often when people ask you what beers you brew, they are very surprised when you tell them that Guinness is one of the things you brew. Can you do Guinness? I can't believe that. And I suppose Guinness have kept their recipe and so on shrouded in mystique, as the Irish are good at. But actually, it's a relatively easy beer to make. It's also relatively cheap to make, and it's quite straightforward. The nitrogenation is the key in terms of presenting the pint with the foamy head, but we'll come back to that a bit later. So for the malt bill for Guinness, it's relatively straightforward. We've got about 70% pale malt, Planet pale malt today, with a bit of Maris Otter simply because I haven't quite got enough. Normally we'd sort of worry about that, but I think with the Guinness the overwhelming flavour is the roasted barley, which is an unmalted grain, and that's what gives Guinness its colour, which of course isn't black. Although everyone thinks of Guinness as being black, if you hold it up to a light, you'll see that it's a really dark ruby red colour. And that comes from the roasted barley. And we've also got some flake barley as well, which will really help with the head retention and the body as well. I've brewed Guinness many times over the years, and it's normally quite nice. It's never been exact, I must admit. And one of the differences is the colour of the head. Guinness head seems to be really white, and often when we homebrew it, we get quite a tan coloured head. And I was going to watch Greg Wallace's Inside the Factory episode because I remember on that episode that Guinness do something a little bit different with the roasted barley. They kind of steep it separately from the mash in hot water and then add a black liquid effectively from that steeping straight to the boil. But Greg Wallace unfortunately has been cancelled, so that episode isn't viewable at the moment. So I'm going to mash it in the normal way. In the future, I'll be interested to experiment with doing some kind of separate steeping of the roasted barley to just get the colour, not the astringency. Guinness is quite dry and astringent, and I think some of that does come from the roasted barley, certainly, but also we need a yeast that's going to dry the beer out and create a good attenuation. Attenuation is the posh brewery word that we use for how much of the sugar in the wort the yeast will eat, and the more that's left, then the sweeter and more body the beer has, and the less that's left, the drier it has. So typically beer might attenuate to 75%, say, but in this case we're going to look to push it up to 85%, something like that, to get a nice dry finish. We're going to mash in now, get going, get this show on the road. The water profile for Guinness. This is one of the few beers that we can actually brew. We could actually brew using our tap water, which is very hard here in Staffordshire. But the way we've set the brewery up is that we've always got the hot liquor tank full of RO water. So we're still using RO water, and we're building the water up from scratch. So seems a bit weird to me that's constantly scourged by hard water, but the first thing I'm adding here is calcium carbonate chalk, quite a bit of it. So if you go around breweries, especially big old breweries like Guinness, they'll talk about the mystique of the water and how important it is. And well, they're absolutely right, it is important. But many years ago, you'd have only been able to brew Guinness in places like Dublin or London, or here, of course, where the water's hard. And but now you can brew whatever style of beer you want, wherever you want. Whereas Guinness would be brewed in Dublin, porters would be brewed in London because the water suited a dark beer. Now you can just add the right minerals to your water to create whatever beer you want. So a Czech Pilsner, for example, has virtually no minerals in it. And so that would have been completely unachievable to a brewery based in London, Dublin or Staffordshire, because our water would be so hard. But now we can create the right mineral profile by just using RO water and adding what we need. The other thing about a dark beer is that we're less likely to have to alter the pH. We can aim for a slightly higher pH. Normally I aim for about 5.2, but on a darker beer we can probably be fine at 5.3, 5.4. Right, so let's get those salts in and then we'll check the pH. So yeast-wise, we've often used SO4 for this beer in the past, and SO4 has got many of the qualities you want. It's fairly quick, it flocculates well, which means the yeast will quickly settle in the tank, and it's also reasonably good attenuation, I think up to 82%. But SO4 can give off some fruity stuff. It's the kind of yeast that's was often used by your local microbrewery 20 years ago for their regular house yeast, and gives a sort of English ale fruitiness to the beer. We don't necessarily want that with Guinness. We could ferment it at low temperature, say 18, to try and avoid too much fruitiness. But I've found this yeast, which is very similar actually to SO4, but it's claiming slightly higher attenuation up to 85%, and it also says that it low ester formation during fermentation, so possibly won't give off as many fruity esters as SO4. So we're going to try that first time we've used this yeast, and we'll see what it's like. Quite another yeast that would be interesting to try might be Omega Gulu. That's a yeast that, if you watch our Boddington's video, we're using that because it's a super attenuator and it would probably give a really dry finish to the stout. So next time we might try that, but for this, on this occasion, we're going to use WHC Old English. Okay, so we're about half full in the kettle, and we can now add the water salts. And as usual, we put the first half of the water salts in the mash, and then the second half, to compensate for the added sparge water, straight into the boil. But look how when it plunges into the wort here, it sort of froths up. This is because of the sodium bicarbonate in the water salts reacting with the slight acidity of the wort, and that's what causing that frothing
The
on the
hops
wort
in
there.
this Guinness recipe that we're using is just straightforward East Kent Goldings. So old-fashioned English hop, and actually Guinness don't add any late in the boil or whirlpool or dry hops or anything. It's just for bittering. So it's probably not absolutely vital as to which hop you use, or even if you just used a bittering extract like a CO2 extract or a flex, but we're going to use East Kent Goldings, and fair ruck of them, 363 grams, which gives us 45 IBU. So, boiling for an hour. There's no late hop addition, but I've got some Protafloc to put in. Some say it's not necessary on a dark beer like Guinness, but I always add it. And I always add it on hazy beers as well, actually, just to get the excess proteins to precipitate out. It helps them clump together and sink to the bottom before we transfer it to the fermenter. And after that, we cooled it down, put it in the fermenter, and then checked the gravity, found it to be bang on at 1040. So we'll rejoin the video 10 days later after fermentation. Right, the Guinness is ready for putting into kegs. We've got it cooled down to 3.8. It's about as cold as we can get it. It's a red hot day, 30 degrees. We've got the top dip tube feeding these kegs. Just need to empty the gas. And I'm just going to start this. This is full of sanitizer, so I'm just going to bleed it. And that back up, and I'm going to feed it into the keg through the out tube so that beer goes straight to the bottom. I've got zeroed the weight. This particular keg's a bit bigger than the others, but I want to leave a bit of headspace in the top because we're going to talk about how we nitrogenate these kegs. And here's the beer as it stands now. Quite clear. Keep still. It's not quite clear. It's pretty flat, which is what I want. And the head has got quite large, normal, sort of beery bubbles. In order to try and get this ready quickly, we can do two things. We can put the nitrogen in, or the mixed gas, to high pressure with a bit of headspace, and then if we shake the keg up, then it should increase the surface area effectively and get the nitrogenation into the beer quickly. Nitrogen isn't quite as readily soluble apparently in liquid as carbon dioxide is, so it's not quite as easy as carbonate in a keg. What I mustn't do is forget it and let it overflow and squirt everywhere, not least because of the mess, but also because I need the headspace for what I'm going to do. Right, so we've got the first one filled. It's got 21 litres in it, so I think it's about 24 capacity. And if you come down here, you can see there's a condensation line, so it is quite a bit of headspace. Now, I've got my mixed gas, 70-30, which is 70% nitrogen, 30% CO2. You can get 60-40 gas as well, which is more for serving keg lagers and things. So 70-30 is the mix that you want if you're getting mixed gas. Now, I'm going to put a microphone down here, so hopefully you can hear it. I'm going to connect the gas at high pressure, 50 psi. Corny kegs can withstand a lot. It might depend from keg to keg, but 50 will be fine, and you've got your safety valve anyway. So I'm going to put it through the outpost, and it should bubble up. Hopefully, when I connect this to the outpost, you'll hear it bubbling in. So bubbling it through the bottom increases the surface area as each bubble rises up through the beer, and that will help in itself. That will do it faster. But in a minute, what we're going to do is shake it up, and we can release a bit of air from the top. And make sure it's completely up to pressure. Still hear a bit of bubbling. And now, I'm going to give it a good shake. So when you shake up a can of Coke, or a bottle of Coke, when you open the lid, effectively the carbonation comes out. Now if you shake it up under pressure, it's the exact opposite, and the carbonation, or in this case nitrogenation, will go in more readily. And the other important thing, there's three important factors to carbonating or nitrogenating a beer. Surface area, which is what we're increasing now, temperature, the cooler the better, and pressure of the gas. To prove that that's done something, if I reconnect this, should hear it bubble again because pressure's gone down because the gas has been absorbed into the liquid. Quite a lot going in. So, you can, if you're not in a hurry, just put pressure on the keg, and readily available on the internet is this carbonation chart. There are certain amounts of carbonation that are suitable for certain types of beer, and that's what the different colours effectively mean on here. This is Guinness, but it's nitrogenated, so we need slightly higher sort of saturation of gas than you would in a sort of bitter, if you like, or that wasn't, you weren't pouring through the nitrogen pump. So read the temperature, read the pressure, pick out the carbonation you want and just leave it to it, and it'll happen at some point within a few days, a week at most. But by agitating it, we're trying to speed that up into literally minutes. The other way that you can do it is we could have done it straight in here. So in order to do that, what we would do is we would ditch the yeast out of the bottom so that it's relatively clear beer, and then connect the gas to the carbonation stone, which will put tiny bubbles through the beer, and then set the pressure to what it says on this chart, and that will also carbonate it quicker than otherwise just putting pressure on it would. So this is the one we've shaken up down here. I'm going to connect this and just test it with this mocked up stout tap. Now, after 5 minutes shaking, well, 2 minutes shaking, that looks pretty good to me. Still got to clear the beer, but the carbonation or nitrogenation is pretty good. Pressure's a bit high, so that's why it's not for brilliantly, but it's getting very Guinness-like indeed. So we'll put it in the cooler, let it cool down for a couple of days and clear, and I think we'll be about there. Half now, to be honest. And that's it after just letting it settle and topping it up. So, pretty good. Later that night, a space emerged in the kegerator and another keg emptied, and we just could not resist putting the Guinness on, pouring it through the nitro pour nozzle on the tap, and this is the result. A beautiful creamy head with fine bubbles, and the fine bubbles within the beer just slowly wafting up the beer as it settles perfectly. We've got a real Guinness from a Nitrosurge gadget on top of the Nitrosurge cans, and this is our homebrewed keg version, which has been nitrogenated, as we've seen. The beers pour beautifully in both cases, and it's important now to have a rest at this stage and leave the beer until it goes all black and the bubbles have finished surging up the beer. This helps with the head integrity. After that, you can top it up. In this case, this is the can, and this is our draft version. Just get a slight dome of the head slightly above the top of the glass, and here you can see on the right the canned version, and on the left the keg version. Head's just a touch bigger, but it will settle down as it settles. And this is our Irish beer expert, Fergal, who's flown in specially from Ireland. And as soon as he got here, he wanted to pour his own Guinness straight away and see what it was like. We're going to sit down now and have a chat with him and see what he thinks of this Guinness. You've all got homebrew and one real Guinness from a Nitrosurge. And I don't expect it's going to be the same. If you had the recipe word for word from Guinness and you knew every detail, the water, the ingredients and everything, and you followed that recipe, it still wouldn't come out identical because of your equipment, your all sorts of things, even atmospheric pressure. So it's never going to be the same, but if we can get something that you think is acceptable to drink,
before we go
as
any
an
further,
Irishman.
As an Irishman, a proud Irishman, before we go further, where did you get the ingredients that as close to where you are to produce this?
Well, the recipe is actually very, or at least what people think is the recipe, is quite well known. It's quite simple. It's pale malt, flake barley and roasted barley, and then East Kent Golding hops, or at least as far as we know it's East Kent. In other words, a traditional English old hop. Water in Dublin is similar to London, similar to here. It's quite hard, it's good for dark beer. But there's things in the Guinness process that may be
Nobody
a bit better
knows.
than mine. Maybe they know a bit more about what they're doing than I do.
Maybe.
Who knows?
So we go with your Guinness first.
I can't wait as long as you, Fergal. Well into
This
it.
is my second one, by the way.
Have you finished yours, Matt?
No, just took the top off.
Oh.
Split the juice.
Another marketing ploy.
Yeah.
Load of nonsense. If you tried to split the G word, I think you're going to get thrown out of the pub. When you won't get out.
So you don't split the G then?
Not at all.
What's the process time from start to finish?
Well, again, it's relatively easy beer to make, straightforward. Takes a day to do the brewing, all straightforward, mash temperatures and everything. Ferment it with a simple fast ale yeast. In a week's time it's done, let it rest for a few days in the fermenter, and then I put it in the kegs and I've got a dew on later that day, so I nitrogenated it fast and put it on that night.
You're
which
keeping
is,
the kegs.
10 days to a fortnight.
yeah,
You're keeping the kegs in the cool room.
yeah.
You know you'll probably only get really a week out of a keg of Guinness when you split it, if you're lucky. After that, it does tend to go off.
We've not had any.
It's not a
trouble
problem
with-
I've ever had.
There's only 40 pints
Never
in
gone
these.
that long.
Yeah, the standard at home, you have 88 pints. There was actually a couple of months ago, I had to fill a brown bucket with about 5 litres of it because it was gone, and it was quite a difficult moment.
I can't believe that.
Try harder, Richard. Now we try the real stuff out of the can.
Greg, you're a man of Irish descent, aren't you? Are you a big Guinness man or not?
Massive Guinness one, yeah, but I think that's the Guinness and not yours. There's not much in it.
That's soft. What you'd find with Guinness, if you're running through long lines, or you're running through dirty lines, or you're running, from my experience, you're buying pints in the UK or dirty glasses. Oh, you can get bitterness. It's not a nice. And I said the first thing I said to you when I had a mouthful is that's soft.
Would you call it bitterness or sourness?
Tomato.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not soft. That's not a touch on that. And I'm not just saying that.
Really?
I'm telling you now, my humble opinion.
So what are your real one?
That's a can.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of a disservice because it is a can and it does taste a bit metallic, doesn't it?
It does, but the reality of it is you could go to a pub here. The key to good Guinness is a flow.
Yeah.
You walk into a pub and no one's drinking Guinness, don't drink Guinness because it's sitting in lines. And if you walk into your pub and you've 4 or 5 friends, this is experience, Richard, and you're ordering 4 or 5 pints of Guinness, offer to pay for them. Hand them all the first 4 pints and take the 5th one yourself. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
He's a gentleman for buying me a drink. He's also got the best pint in the room because he's got the one that's flown through the line.
I mean, one of the things about Guinness and Diageo is they're absolutely obsessed with Guinness being the same wherever you have it in the world. I know
It doesn't travel well.
people say it's better in Ireland, but
It is.
and I agree with that. It is, but I think nobody necessarily pours it right over here or elsewhere, do they? They
No,
don't give it the patience. They're not lining up 2/3 full glasses, are they? And
It's not shown the respect it deserves. And you find you need to come to where I live. We have to set that up, and I bring you to some pubs where they do treat, they always treat respect in Ireland. They treat food and drink the same. But I've had bad pints of Guinness in Ireland too, in the Guinness Athletic Union. I've had bad pints of Guinness in plenty of places in Ireland. But I find from experience, and this is probably the wrong way of putting it, the rougher the pub you go to. And whether that's a better pint, and whether that's I live out in the country, and we're driving down here, and I'm saying it to Nick, this just reminds me of home, trees over the road, you know, you're driving down, and there's a pub beside us, they wouldn't put up with it. You go into inner city Dublin,
that's true.
the real rough parts, they're not having a bar of it. No, that stuff isn't right, hand it back. But this is right, other than the Worthington's glass. Get your pen out and be right Guinness on this.
And what's your view on temperature then for Guinness? Because there's that obsession with extra cold.
I don't
a few
like
years
extra
ago.
cold. I think again, it's another marketing myth. I don't know if you've ever drank large bottles of Guinness where you're getting them off the shelf.
Right.
But you drink them in a chilled-up glass. All the old boys are drinking, and it's lovely. It really is nice. But you drink it
from a bottle.
It's from a bottle, but you're literally you get them in the fridge. You can get them. The old boys will take them off the shelf, and they call it medicine, if you like.
Yeah.
But you drink it a lot slower than you drink draft Guinness, and it is lovely. The problem is, the next morning it can be a bit more harder on you than drinking draft, if you know where I'm coming from. But they used to say a bottle a day back home for iron, you know.
Guinness gives you strength.
Oh, well, it does, allegedly. Again, more marketing. We're in the wrong business, Joe.
So let's just go around. So Matthew, notwithstanding the fact that it's ages since you've tasted any, because you've lasted it, which one do you like best, and what do you find the difference?
It's definitely more flavour to yours. You can see the smoothness and the creaminess with the pound. To be fair, it sort of knocked the taste out. Yeah, you've got the side of this. Arguably, it's not apples with apples, is it? With the candiness as a draft. But in fairness, it tastes better. It's almost back to the body to the flavour. Nitro it takes a lot of the taste out of it. Like it tastes like, to me, things now. It's
Well, the first thing I said when I took a mouthful, it's soft.
Yeah.
If you get a good pint of Guinness, it has to be soft. It does. You don't want anything coming back at you. You don't want the bitterness or whatever word we want to use. That's soft. And this is the first. The only thing I would say is, again, as a alleged Guinness expert, it's not holding the glass.
Mine is. You must have had a bag of chips.
Easy. I'm going to get thrown out here. Let's start the car, will you?
Look how deliciously mine's on the side.
We're going to the little chef for lunch. At the services.
So how many different beers do you have?
Well, we've got 8 on draft today,
Yeah.
but it's a bit
Just the
limited
8?
because we're not expecting many.
Just the 8.
It's only a small gather.
This is killing him now because that holds the glass. You see a good pint of Guinness as well. You drink it in 4.
No, there is one difference between mine glass and your glass.
Yeah, that was
You
what.
poured it. You poured yours, and I poured mine.
Yeah, but the big difference here, Richard, is you're the master brewer, I'm the master drinker.
Well, I think whilst we've still got some left of each one, I've got another little surprise for you.
Here we go.
Oh.
Now look, that's holding.
We've had a can. We've had a keg homebrew. I've got a third version for you to try.
Now, what's this?
And this is something that will go back to before we were born, probably, because I've got a cask version of Guinness that I've made.
Guinness. I'm going to follow on the video. And that's it. Oh, God. far back are we going there, Rich?
I don't know. I was
We
going
have
to
to
look
Google
it
it. Yeah, we should, because I'd say you're.
up. I can only ever remember Guinness on the night report.
The last one that's. Can I guess before you say it? Go on. 1945.
1963. Spurs, we've won it quite well.
So 363. This is how we were drinking Guinness.
Yeah. 1973 was last year in Madden cans. That's what you need to say. Wooden cans.
You said about treating it with respect. We don't have to treat it with that much respect, Joe, for God's sake.
What an absolute amateur. I haven't thought of doing it in an oak cask as well.
Keg, cask.
And can, yeah.
See, it's more aggressive, the head.
I put mine in the same
Like original
order.
medicine. Gives you strength.
Frothing ale.
When I was a young fellow, I wish there was a woman so I could be pregnant. I could drink a pint of Guinness every day.
They used to give it out in the maternity
Yes, they
wards,
did.
didn't they?
Class of
Here
Guinness.
as well.
Yeah. And the same if you give blood. You used to get a pint of Guinness if you gave blood. There'd be lads queuing up around the block to get free cans of Guinness, pints of Guinness because you give blood.
Yeah, last time I gave blood, I killed 3 people.
On the way in or the way out?
Right.
Right, so we agreed that the can is crap, or we call it English pub standard.
Okay.
This is your
So we're
cask.
going for this cask version now.
That tastes, and I'm not just saying it, it does taste the bottle. I'm telling you, you get your tulip glass, your pint bottle, and you drink it slowly. We'll give you a good story. Back about 20 years ago, our Prime Minister, Taoiseach, came into my local pub where I used to live on a Sunday, and there was a character in there called Ernie O'Toole, gentleman. Bertie Ahern walks in with the local TD, as we call them. And he goes up to my mate, stand at the end of the bar. He's always at the end of the bar. No boy, oldish. He's pouring his glass of Guinness. Bertie Ahern walks in behind us. Hello, how are you? So, hold on there a second, Bertie. Fill the glass, took him out from himself. Nice to meet you.
Can't disturb the thought.
Not a chance. I don't care who you are. That's nice. But that does remind me, as I say, you get the old boys will take the bottle from the shelf, but you'll also get them in the fridge, and that is, you see, you're saying bitter, but that's not even bitter, it's just a different taste.
What we found the other day
You
when
drink that slower.
we tried cask Boddingtons that I'd made and keg Boddingtons that I'd made, and we found the keg took some taste out of it.
Yeah.
If anything, you can taste a bit more of the sort of malt in it, can't you? The graininess.
It's a proper drink.
Proper old fashioned.
Yeah.
You can imagine that would be what it would be like in the 60s, can't you?
But I'm telling you, flatulence the day after drinking bottles of Guinness.
Yeah.
It's a different story.
Well, I mean, we don't get anything like that at Wheatlow Brewery.
Flatulence.
We're going.
But it's coming at the top end, not the bottom end.
So, as an Irishman, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that you've put your uniform on so we could, for the video,
100%.
viewers could realise that you're Irish.
Well, obviously no, but it's like, there's three things that'll give it away: my rugby top, my accent, and my oversized head. I'm Irish,
What about
and I've got my passport out in the car if you need it. But there's a big picture in it.
the question is though, as an Irishman, what does Guinness mean to you?
Everything.
Really?
It's an identity. It is an identity. The country is identified. Well, potatoes, we won't mention the famine, right? Potatoes and Guinness. I had to get that one in, lad. Sorry about that, because I'm politically incorrect. The last time I had a drink with this man, I nearly ended up in New York, not in Dublin, for God's sake. Guinness means everything. It's a brand. Everybody knows Guinness the world over. Another product now, which would, and I travel a lot to the States with business and so on and so forth, is butter.
Really?
Irish butter. You go to Sainsbury's, going out, I'm going to be in
What,
Walmart
clover
and
and stuff?
No, it's Kerry Gold.
Kerry Gold.
Kerry Gold. But,
That's made in Leek, isn't it? Just up the road from here. I'm sure it is.
Cut. Nick, start the car, we're gone. to use Irish credibility. You're going to have to tell us the three Irish I lies.
don't have an identity crisis out here. So which personality is here today? But again, I said to go back, I don't do this marketing crap on the can. That is a good point of Guinness. The first thing I said when we opened it, when you handed it to me and took them out for it, it's soft, it goes down all right. Out of the cask, it reminds me of the medicine, the bottles, the old school bottles. So I don't think you've done too bad for trying to rob an Irish product and reproduce it here. I'm not there. And neither is your Guinness. I think it's lovely.
Well, I'll take that,
All right.
definitely. From the Oracle.
And I'm not getting paid for this. I'll see you in the car park. No, I think it's 100% Rich. Honest to God. The only problem I have is Mr. O'Leary won't let me take any of it home with me.
Oh, really?
No, we'll have to check my bag in.
Well, you'll have to take it in your belly.
You
He can't get to you there.
Can you get on to Birmingham Airport and about, you know, they push you in the wheelchair onto and put you in the truck and lift you into the back of it?
No, I
it's
think
excellent.
if you can board a flight how you were last time you came for lunch,
Lunch.
then you can do anything.
But the last time, the reason I came for lunch the last time was if we go for lunch, surely I can get out of here sober. No.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, 100%. We came here first, and we won beer. I think Matcha was we won beer. Now, I was that drunk, I thought I came here after, right? But Matcha told me last night, no, Fergal, we went at the start. And we got to the restaurant, and these just 4 pints. And I said, but there's only, and obviously the other people was going, yeah, you can have what you want. It was just 2 pints, 2 pints. And usually I thought, whoop. So I kind of saying, well, monkey see, monkey do. So I did exactly the same. Then we started discussing numbers and years and AD 378 or whatever it was, I can't remember. But,
It's the most enjoyable.
what was it?
324.
There's your fucking good.
Does that,
We're on our lunch break, right? Turn off the mixer, will you, for God's sake? There's no blocks being laid here.
if you go back to that pub, there's a plaque on the wall with that number on it. There's a big price
It was some crack,
negotiation.
but to have the other, like to have Matcha, well, Jane knows the crack because Jane is Jane. But to have Matcha and Sarah sitting there and they're going, what the fuck is going on here? That was good old school. That was good, great day. But as
It
I
was
say,
totally impromptu though, wasn't it? We weren't going to drink at all.
we weren't
It was
gonna
an
drink it.
accident.
Well, yeah. I've never seen a man carry 6 pints of Guinness like this, or 6 pints of beer, whatever.
You could do anything when you've had enough.
Stop.
haven't you?
But I kid you not, I got back to Dublin Airport, I walked out, my wife stood to collect me, and I was literally standing there with my bag crying. And she said, what's wrong with you? Now, it was an emotional day and everything, and, you know, and she said, what's wrong with your face? I don't fucking know. I don't know if I can. She cried, she said, okay, you've been over, you've seen the lads, and blah, 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 had a good day. Stop crying. I can't, right? We got to the toll bridge. Will you stop fucking crying? It was a bit of everything. But I won't be crying today, I can guarantee you that. What?
He has that effect on people.
I don't know whether it's crying happiness or sadness or crying I was happy got away from. Stop. Oh, stop. It was a good old session though, wasn't it?
We got through it, didn't we?
And there was a lot of showboating, but it was just to kind of have these people sitting there going, what the fuck is going on? This is not how you do business. It was good old crack though, wasn't it? Good old crack, yeah.
Well, boys, he's liking.
Should we see these off?
See them off, like ladies of the night. Out you go.
Now we can have a proper British beer then, can't we?
I won't be drinking that stuff. For fuck's sake. Well, I tell you, respectfully, I'm not drinking that shit. No. No. No, it's just come from the place they make the butter up the hill because that's Stop.
So you've just put your real Guinness to one side.
It's not my real Guinness, it's a can of shit with this thing that sticks on the top of it. I don't drink cans of Guinness.
But you've been spoilt with the luxury handcrafted version.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. No more. That's some Cork. You don't drink that shit. Murphy's and Beamish.
Where's Beamish from?
I think
The
that's
south.
Cork as well, yeah.
Is it?
And you see, the problem with Cork is that they think that that's the real capital, but it's not.
They do. There's an app, right, with Murphy's, and it was called every time it rains, it pours. And if it rained in that day, you took the app to the pub and you got a free pint of Murphy's. Pretty good way of getting into the pub. Well, it's Ireland, doesn't it?
It's raining. That tells you two things. It rains a lot and nobody drinks Murphy's, so they're just giving it away for fucking free. I walked into it, it was the most stereotypical Irish pub was ever in my life. Just walked in, turned around and walked straight out.
Really?
You've got that with Irish pubs, haven't you?
Which I don't like going to an Irish pub in the middle of Germany, because I just think if you're going to Germany, have a German pub. It's a proper German.
I said,
I'll go to an Irish pub in Ireland, great.
I don't bother your arse. The reason you'd market them is they are so big wherever you go. They're friendly, they're warm, in the sense that you'll feel welcome and you're looked after. My local, if I walk into it, the first time I ever walked into it, a fella said to me, if anyone's ever nice to you in here, panic. Right? So you walk in, and it's banter, we laugh together, we drink together, and we cry together. And if you're stuck, he's a plumber, he's a mechanic, he's an electrician, he's this, he knows something. And I'm not talking about, I've been in other pubs where you can buy anything you want, you know what I mean? But just...
Yeah, proper community, isn't it?
Cade need a falter, 100,000 miles. And that's what they're trying to recreate wherever they go. And that's why.
And in fairness to these Irish pubs in Germany, they're full, aren't they? But it's not my cup of tea when I'm in Germany or France or whatever.
You see another problem.
Can I take you? We're a bit short of glasses. Can I take your empty?
Well, that's not. Right, this is when he starts. This is when he spins you around and goes, "I'm going to make that fucker cry at Dublin Airport tonight, you bastard."
Well, I'll let you get away with that, but
I don't want that.
You know.
You can use that. I wouldn't use that to clean the wheels of my car, for God's sake. It's dirt.
You literally want me to throw the real Guinness away?
You can have your 5 litres of off Guinness moment.
So by the
that I had
time
a
I've
couple of
taken these over there, I shall expect that one passing. So what conclusions can we draw from this experiment? Well, certainly we can make a Guinness at home and we can nitrogenate it and we can pour it through the nitrogen pouring spout and get a really authentic looking pint of Guinness with the fine bubbles that look brown as they rise up through the liquid and the thick, creamy head that sticks around as you drink the beer. And if you didn't have a Guinness to taste it against next to it, you wouldn't particularly taste it and say, that's not Guinness. It's really quite similar as we can probably expect to get it for all the reasons outlined earlier in the video. But what really excited us in this experiment is the cask. It was a bit of an afterthought to do cask, and to be honest, I thought it was so sort of embedded with people that they have the nitrogen pour head, that the cask would be a novelty but of not much interest. But what was interesting is everybody kept ordering after the filming the cask version, and that was the one that people found really interesting. And why not? Because that's a beer that hasn't been available since the 70s, and we've experienced it right here at Wheatlow Brewery.
That's black enough for me.
Is that what you think then? Wait till the black liquid's there and
black.
it's settled enough to go for it?
Well, mine's
Now we're going to use.
You're going to use the knife?
Sponsored by Heineken, by the way. We need to get barbed wire around here so nobody robs it. That's not a bad pint of Guinness. From a cask.
Cask conditioned, handcrafted.
It feels like 1963. That should be in black and white. Excellent.